nationwide over electricity tariff hike, demand reversal. Rivers elders and leaders tell Governor Fubara not to tamper with structure in the state assembly quarters. And later on the show, Adamawa Customs intercept petrol worth 10.8 million naira en route Cameroon. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Kolawole Johnson. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. One of the most essential qualities of a successful leader is having a listening ear. President Bola Tinubu is being applauded for the suspension of the Cybersecurity Levy. The latest is coming from Senator representing Borno South, Ndume, who commended President Tinubu for the decision to suspend the Cybersecurity Levy. The Senate Chief Whip, who described the president's response as swift, noted that the development didn't come as a surprise. BKO, Nigerians kicked against this.
Yes.
Nigerians kicked against this, and President Tinubu again has demonstrated what it takes to be a listening leader.
Yes, and look at the words that Ndume used in describing the president. He called him a listening, responsive, and reactive person who is concerned about the plight of the poor people. You see, one good thing about this program is that we accurately gauge the mood of the majority of our people.
And we always stand by the people.
We stand by our people.
Not the government.
No, I'm not interested in the government. But governments come, governments go. But the journalist who is faithful to his calling, he will remain a journalist forever.
Consistent standing.
We don't retire. We don't retire. Great journalists die practicing the profession. You can see with Blizzard, at that age, is still very much active. And so many of them like that. So we stood by our people. That these taxes, at a time when people are going through a lot, we don't need this thing. The timing is wrong. We said it here on, was it Wednesday? Discussed it here. And we said, no, that is taxes. You cannot, at a time when there are so many taxes and people are grappling with existential problems, you can't introduce a new tax. And I remember saying, look, what we need to improve is the efficiency of collection of the existing taxes that we have. There are many avenues through which resources are leaking.
When you expand,
it's not until you increase the number of taxes, when you improve on the efficiency of collection, you are still going to, and I gave the example of Lagos. Lagos, the IGR keeps going up. Yeah. It's not because they are introducing new taxes.
Over 1 billion every day now.
It is the efficiency of collection. So, at a time when Nigerians are going through a lot, Babajide Kolade Otitoju will not be seen as encouraging, creating greater burden for our people. It's not going to happen. We mock those who say, oh, look at the APC program. Oh, APC program, and it's as popular as it is. What we have done for ourselves as trained journalists, those who are people who passed through, good journalists who trained us, is to be faithful to our conscience, first and foremost, is to be on the side of our people.
Every time, always.
We on the side of our people. Because, and it's the same thing, even with the electricity tariff. I'm not against increase in tariff, I've always asked for appropriate pricing, Ayo, if you recall. But if you say you want to give me band A,
I mean, band A, I'm not having.
And I can't enjoy electricity for 5 hours. Tell me another story.
Band A, my foot.
So this is the thing. Some don't even belong to any band. So on this matter, it is clear. The timing is wrong. Even the big economists in our country, who always cite the government when the government comes up with revolutionary initiatives, on this call, they said no now. And you can see, as far as Ndume is concerned, he said this law was delivered in a hurry. The National Assembly members shouldn't deliver laws to us in a hurry. That's why you are there. Spend that time. Look at the bill with a fine-tooth comb. Come up with what we believe is right for our people. And you have to be sensitive. Sensitive about what goes on the streets of Nigeria. I appreciate the president for, again, this is not the first time that even on this program we say this is wrong, Mr. President, and he will pull back. That is the sort of president I want to see. Not the president will say whatever you do, like, if you like, strike.
That's deaf.
And we will not do anything. That's not wrong. That's wrong.
They even told us that this might even affect, as in the transaction I'm doing online and everything, that people will decide to just put their money in their houses. Cash, load physical cash.
There are causal effects to every policy you bring into place. That is why a lot of times government will always do the cost-benefit analysis of policies, initiatives like this to see if it is actually needed at that particular time. It's a given that Nigeria is struggling with revenue issue. It is hampering at development. To a point that you're spending 100% of your income to service debt. You're not even paying back, the chunk of the debt yet. So every single money you see that they steal day and night, that we spend in frivolous expenses in governments, they are all loans, unfortunately. So we need to move out from there to start generating more. But in generating more, you need to be careful too. Two things. One, if you're generating more, you don't generate. It is a given that there is no government that can tax its way out of such doldrum. You look at two aspects. As much as you want to tax, again, you look at how can you save fund internally. If you're asking us to pay every single levy, but in the government still live large. I said this at the very beginning of this government when the ministry were launched out. Please, I explained then that what we want to save fund, we don't have the money, and we are having an over-bloated government of 48 ministry. What for? I'll give you an example. The Ministry of Sport, that used to be manned with just one person, is now manned with 3 persons. The Minister of Sport, 1, the Minister of Youth, 2, the Minister of State for Youth. So if you want to generate more, you should also look at how to also save some funds. There are 2 healthy ways of keeping a good balance sheet. The first is to reduce your expenditure while you also increase your revenue. So what we not help the people at this point is such levy to increase revenue, especially when it is obvious that it is against the Cyber Crimes Act. The provisions of that act simply made this applicable only to some businesses listed in the second schedule. So that brings me to the point that before this was launched out, was there not a discussion to see, okay, the economic team, did they not meet to see what would be the effect of this if it is introduced to the people? I remember some years back when the former president Obasanjo was talking in Anambra State. He said Soludo brought a certain thing to him that would have been good for the government. But he said when he looked at it, it did not fit into the drive of the government for that period. He said not that the idea was not good, it was good, but not at that particular time. It won't fit into what the government was looking at. So this brings me to that point that Do we not have a place where we, where we bring policy initiatives to look at all the sides to it, to see whether it is good for that moment or not? So I think I'm not just supporting what the maestro said. I'm throwing my weight behind. I don't think I want to romance the president for being a listening one. After all, before he came out, I don't think he will say he was not aware. Not a major policy like this. So for me, I think we shouldn't also, get to a point where we only withdraw when the people react this way, which is good in itself anyway.
But
when we react, you act. Yes.
The president won't even listen. No reaction, nothing. It will just be there.
That is the fact that you had a worse. I don't think we should strike that comparison. You look at Bola Tinubu in Lagos State, was a different thing entirely. I did some job for World Bank in those days. Go and look at all the benchmarks, for governance reform in many of the states. Lagos was the benchmark. So when you are talking about him, you should be talking differently, not in that same level. On the most serious note, he had the private sector background, coming from such a place, then to government. We are expecting something, not in that comparison. Leave that aside. So for me, I'm not even going to put him side by side. No, not that. While it is good for us to say, okay, we'll clap for you for listening to the people when they end, but we should also drive a situation where the government would have put this, on the
we have to leave it there.
Our ports to see whether it is even good for us in the first instance.
And if we try whether it's good for us, and we discover that it's not good for us, then a responsible government can retrace its steps.
Yeah. What is the meaning of democracy?
Yes, because in life, you see, somebody renamed Unilag.
Yeah.
He thought that he would be hailed.
So, yeah.
Because he renamed Unilag after the biggest hero of our democracy. And the people, he didn't expect what he got. And when he got it, what did he do? He retraced his steps. Not because the decision was bad.
Yeah.
Maybe many years down the line, before now, it could have been accepted. Maybe immediately after June 12th, people will have seen it differently.
In different lights.
But a lot of the young people today did not even know who Abiola was.
1993.
And they said, no, we are not going to accept this. If I was named after Awolowo, there was no protest.
No problem.
So sometimes some policies will come that, you must get the timing right.
Yeah.
In this case, they never got the timing right.
I think the main issue now is the timing.
They didn't get the timing right.
This law came into place 2015.
Yes.
Now that's
the amendments
on
now.
The lawmakers to even do thorough
they wanted to strengthen the law. But in trying to strengthen the law, at a time they introduced ways by which those who are charged to make that law work will be strengthened. And they came up with this levy. And at the time when people are hungry, finding
34% inflation,
with the fuel scarcity and everything, the timing was terrible. Even lawmakers know it.
In a display of solidarity and determination, members of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, have staged a protest over hike in the electricity tariff in Nigeria. The NLC and the TUC shut down offices of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, and distribution companies, DISCOs, nationwide, to press home their demands for the reversal of electricity tariff hike. The demonstrations brought activities in their offices to a standstill as workers were stranded. This is yet another increase, that is electricity. But for that sector to move on, analysts say this move is a step in the right direction, that we cannot continue the way it used to be, that government is subsidizing this thing heavily.
Again, the timing is wrong. There are many people in government who would have expected this to happen maybe after 2 years.
2 years?
Yes. When you have cost...
You have to invest in that sector.
Hold on.
Okay, it's allowed.
When you have caused real improvement to happen in the sector, there's no improvement that we are talking about here. In many states of our country, 90% of the people, electricity consumers, in many states, don't have access to prepaid meters. They are made to grapple with estimated billing, which amounts to a huge fraud.
Big one.
That's that. At this time, our capacity to generate is affected largely by gas constraints. The kind of gas constraints that we didn't even have some years before now. So when you have a situation in which more than 97% of your electricity generating infrastructure are gas fired and you have gas constraints, that is why you see from time to time system failures happening, because you must be able to have gas supply at optimum level. Yeah?
We produce gas.
Yes, but there are many things. You know, we can talk about why we have gas constraints. It's a different. Sometimes the boys in the Niger Delta will break the pipelines because they are looking for crude. And once you break the pipeline, the gas pipeline, you merely wasted your time because you cannot pipe the gas that you've broken, and you have disrupted supply to the power plants. The power plants are by nature located far away from the source of gas. You can imagine the source of gas is Niger Delta, but we have power plants even in the north central Nigeria, Geregu and the rest of them. Papkalanto, Omotosho 1 and 2. You know, they are far away from the Niger Delta, and people break pipelines. How does gas get to them? Sometimes they cause disruptions from forecados. Gas does not get to power stations. So already we have, and many gas companies prefer now to even sell to foreign clients. We are looking for a way to discourage them from simply producing for foreign clients.
We've been owing the gas.
We have problems with that. They are owing the gas companies. You know, as I said before, the discos are the people that we all abuse. Whereas that relay from generation to transmission to distribution, they all have problems. But because the discos are the face of the industry,
that we can see.
They are the ones that we go. Yes,
last retailer.
Yes, we go and fight them. People say all kinds of things.
And
they are the worst.
And transmission.
They are the weakest link. They are this. I hear they are the weakest link. I know that people say that are ignorant.
Transmission is.
I just. You see, I've talked about it many times. This. I just want to keep looking at people. If we had succeeded in improving that sector, improve generating capacity, improve distribution capacity.
Don't depend on one national grid.
The distribution companies need tremendous investment in that sector. Look at even some of them that are being acquired now by AMCON. The transmission leg, we have issues. So if my own argument is that if we had been able to improve electricity access for our people to the point that they are impressed, honestly, when you bring the matter of increase in tariff, it won't get the kind of pushback that it is getting now. Because even some of the high-end users that you are targeting, that you said this is going to affect them, you are talking about people who get 20 hours, people who get 20 hours of electricity. But where are they? Where are those people who get 20 hours? Some of the people that you listed in that band A, they are barely getting 4 hours in a day. Yet, you want them to pay so much. You want them to pay something higher than even the United States average.
Actually, just 1 million or 2 million of them.
Huh?
I think 1 million of them or so.
So but they too are pushing back. The ordinary people too are pushing back because they are not getting value for money. That is the thing.
See, there are fundamental issues. And I think I'll address it in two ways. The human angle is there that we need to look at. We also need to look at the business angle. Of course, the government, ought to balance the social aspect of its own job and the service providing aspect. That I agree. But if you look at the history of electricity consumption in Nigeria, right from the time of the Europeans, of course, they were the first to start enjoying power in Nigeria. Electricity lighting. We were lighting them for free. It was the European neighborhood that we were lighting. Now, a time came when everybody was enjoying this power. And as soon as it was increased, when tariff was increased, the first tariff increase, what happened then was agitation. As soon as the people agitated, then there was default in payment. And the power company went to court. They won the case. You know what the government did? They bought over the entire debt. And that is the beginning. So government started subsidizing subsequently, gradually. And that brought the power sector to its knees, so much that in 2013, when it was eventually privatized, of course, Labour also kicked that time. It was 2014 that they were able to take over. Now, 5-6 years down the line, I think it was the second time of the last government when the research was done. It was clearly shown that after the privatization, about 6 years after, number one, they had I think they have lost about 85% of revenue. Number two, only 23% of the cost of production were being realized. Number three, operational efficiency has reduced. As long as the government will have its hands feeding them for free, you will have this. Let's even see who are the people enjoying this subsidy. I like us to do this mathematics on the table. You and I will stay in the city. Maybe in your house, you have like 5 ACs or 4 ACs, minimum. Now, if you ought to pay 1,000 naira, take for example per AC, the government subsidizes for you and you pay maybe 300 naira. So, at the end of the day, the government is paying 700 times 5 for you, 3,500 naira. I'm not counting the bulbs now. So maybe the government ends up paying
you support subsidy in that sector.
I'm coming, let me finish.
That's not where it's going.
So the government ends up paying for you, maybe in a week or in a day, 5,000 naira. So you can leave your AC on all through the day, whether you are home or not. You leave your fridges on. But the woman in the village, the family in the village, guess what? Maybe they have just one bulb, one tiny bulb, or 2 or 3 to put on. So at the end of the day, what the government is paying for her subsidy, for that family's subsidy, is not even up to 100 naira in a month. So who is enjoying that subsidy? It is the rich, those who live in the urban areas.
The bandit people.
I agree that this
So
affects
everyone who
production.
lives in the urban area is
I'm
a rich
coming,
person.
please. No, of course I'm coming. Now, but if you look at the ratio, when the government spends, we were to spend like maybe 1.3 trillion or so, to pay again for full subsidy. If you look at that amount, the rich would take maybe 70-80% of that. But unfortunately, there is no way you would take it off that it will not affect both the poor and the rich. And for me, we should be holistic. See, there are some areas where you take holistic decisions. Governance at some point is not tea and bread. When you get to some critical junction in governance, you take critical decisions that will be for the benefit of all. Nigeria must stop subsidizing consumption. I keep maintaining that, and I won't stop maintaining that. If subsidizing electricity for these band A people is what they are fighting for, I would not support it. And they have said, okay, we are not increasing for the band DCB. It is only for band A. I don't think that is wrong. Good economic sense. If that will where would they have the money to invest in order to produce and give us this access we are talking about? So if there's no money to invest there, there's no way service can improve. I'm a private sector person. If something is not working, I look at the problems. I do analysis. I identify the issues. If I need to invest and I don't have the money, and I know that if I borrow, what you are paying me cannot pay back the money, what should I do? For example, if they got to borrow today, they cannot realize in terms of income the amount they have gone to borrow. They can pay. So would they want to invest in the area? The answer is no. So for me, here is the truth. subsidy for the rich should be stopped as soon as we can. So if they have stopped it by increasing tax, I fall in, I don't want to say band A, good. I'm not having that power supply, but I can only pay for what you supply me. That's the truth. So the fact is that if you increase tariff for band A members who are enjoying these things, I don't think it is wrong.
Jide, do you agree? Because we said that in the next 10 years, we need a minimum of $15 billion every other year. Constant investment to turn around that sector.
You think with this increase in tariff, we'll be able to find that money?
We may not be able to do it wholly. Well, at least close the gap.
See, you are not, you see, let me tell you, if we are in a very bad state in terms of electricity, we are in a very bad place. Let's tell ourselves the truth.
It's not something I'm fixing a day.
This thing came at a time when electricity generation and distribution and even transmission was like at an all-time low. I don't think that we have been able to even generate 4,000 megawatts on a consistent basis. Yeah. I challenge anybody to prove that I'm lying. Just 4,000. No. I'm not saying 5,000. No. There was a time that we were able to wheel about 5,700 and something megawatts. Significantly. But now we are not close to that. And that's when you have brought the tariff. People, no matter all the English that we speak, if people can't see value for money, there is no way you can encourage them to buy the idea. That's the point that I'm making. Is it today? Are they not increasing prices in other sectors? Are people not lapping up to it? But electricity people know that they're more or less paying for darkness. The inefficiency in the system is real.
Greek collapse every time.
Yes, and so many problems that we need to address. When we address that problem, then we are getting there.
No, for me, we are talking two different things.
We are talking about rural areas. A lot of those rural areas, they are not even connected to the national grid.
Of course.
I travel a lot. You can imagine places like a place like Mambila. The last time I traveled to Mambila, they were not even connected to national.
All right, wait. We have to take this break. We have to pay our bills.
Okay.
We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. Please don't go away.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV station of the year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Thank you for staying with us. So we have to reach our final submission on this.
Yes.
Okay, let me just try.
Now,
one thing is clear. The last 1 year has not been good for us in terms of supply. That we know. That's why I said we should also go to the root. What exactly is the problem? If the problem is old infrastructure, the cane one, and we need to invest in that place, and the debt burden on us now is huge. I understand that we need to find ways to get this done. It would have been good if the government had invested more to ensure that we have the power supply. But I'm saying that now, if the increase is not general, that is the truth. The increase is only to band A users. And they are only about, is it 15%? Or, very small percentage. However, they consume the larger percentage of the electricity that we generate. So I'm saying that if we need to tax the rich to be able to also, get some fund to invest in the sector, it is not bad. And please come to think of it. The issue of picketing, each time policies are trying to drive some areas to efficiency. It's enough.
We need enough time to
2015. Sorry, 2005, or was it then? No, was it 2007? When OBJ sold the refineries then, the same labor kicked against it. Yaradua came and returned the money to Dangote. Today, Dangote has built a bigger refinery. Nigeria is now investing much more money in that same place. When we are driving reform that will create efficiency, I think we should support. I support this.
Of course, Labour had fears that it will lead to job losses. And of course, it led to job losses. They are in business to protect the welfare of their members.
Yeah.
So that pushback, when the unbundling of the power infrastructure happened, you can expect it. That is, they have to protect the interest of their members.
We keep protecting the interest of a few to let's go to the entire country.
Okay, we have to leave it there. The last has not been heard about the political crisis rocking River States, South Nigeria. This time, the National Assembly members and leaders across political party line have urged Governor Siminalayi Fubara to halt any plan to pull down structures at the State House of Assembly quarters. The elder statesman made call after visiting the assembly premises to assess the condition of the building. Let's share the story with you.
Members of the House of Representatives, local government chairmen and key figures from different political parties converged on the legislator's residence. This location has been a beehive of activity since Governor Fubara visited and suggested that the quarters may need to undergo renovation work. But the assembly members took the delegation on tour to show that there was no justifiable reason for that. If there is any truth to the rumors of plans to roll in the bulldozers, the lawmakers say it is politically motivated.
You will see where they destroyed the padlock, and then in an unimaginable fashion, a sitting governor of the state, one who is expected to uphold the sanctity of the constitution and all our laws, he broke into this place the way it is breaking into people's houses in the night.
They also inspected the makeshift legislative chamber and facilities within and gave the structure a clean bill of health.
We have commissioned engineers to study and give us a report on the integrity of these structures. We have received the report. The report we have is that these structures have a lifespan of not less than 25 years. And we have on our own come out to also physically inspect the structures to cross-check that with the report we received. And these structures are still strong and healthy.
This assembly premises is literally the best within this West African sub-region. If you look at this facility, show me any state that has something like this, as serene and as well put together. When you take it down, you need reverse money to build it back another time. What of the development we were promised will happen? So this is not the way to go.
With the demolition of the assembly complex in December 2023 and the fate of the residential quarters now hanging in the balance, there is concern that the independence of the legislature is threatened.
Promoting or projecting or proclaiming what he calls executive order to bring assembly into government house. In other words, you are not fusing the executive and the legislative arm in one. It is not done. It is not constitutional.
Members of the State Assembly led by Martin Amehule say they will continue to sit because no court of competent jurisdiction has declared their seats vacant.
Julie, I don't know where this information came from that the governor is attempting to demolish the quarters. I can't verify that. Visiting the place does not translate.
No, you didn't listen to what he said when you visited. Go and listen to what he said. He said, I came to see things for myself, and that we came to look at the infrastructure. If some of them need, what's the word that he used, like overhauling, that you will have to do it. Yes, now, the people, they didn't just start shouting. Didn't you listen? He said it belongs to me. He used the word that does it not belong to me. He used the word, he personalized governance.
Legislative chamber.
He said it belongs, it's my property. He said as the governor, it's my property. You didn't listen. It's not until he brings a bulldozer before people know that he has a plan. And what he probably would have done is to identify the houses of a few of them and then destroy. By saying that he came to see for himself whether some of the buildings need overhauling or something like that. It was quoted.
I think
and then why did you break into the place? Why did you break into? Why did you break their gates to enter? No, you see, I don't understand. And this is a governor who knows that there is a court order barring him from interfering in the affairs of the house. There is that order that don't interfere. They told you don't interfere. You've now gone ahead to come up with a ridiculous executive order that they should relocate into the government house. Oh my God. It has now become a reverse state of comedy, because this is beyond ordinary. To go into, what was he looking for in their premises? As that man said, I've not seen an assembly quarters that is as beautiful as this one. It was wicked and beautiful, and the buildings are still standing. Do you think that these elders that marched to the place, that they were idle, they didn't know what they were doing, to go to the place and say, no, don't demolish? Because in the spoken word, he hinted at that. On December 13 last year, we were all shocked when they began to, and any time they talk about impeachment, that's when he thinks about demolition. The place where they meet, where they usually meet, if they had not raised an alarm, he probably would have woken up one day to demolish that place because he thought they would impeach him. That was what happened in December last year. So it's not a case of, oh, he didn't say that. Oh, of course, he hinted at that.
I have Adekunle from Abuja. Thank you, Adekunle.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Ayo.
All right, go ahead, please.
Mr. Polade, yeah. On the issue of River State, it's just that it's quite unfortunate that the infrastructure of people will suffer. But I want us to know that what we are saying now is as true, say true, from continuing from what we came said did the river. At least the 8 years of UK the river is all Gestapo. He ensured that he changed the real opposition out of the state. But now that he's now installed now, he doesn't want to. And I'm expecting Buhari to do more than what we did, because we is one that's installed in there. You should not forget that when they were doing Kamari, there was this out of here guy that UK is locked up.
Thank you, Adekunle. I have a public announcement here from the Rivers House of Assembly saying that the confirmation of a member of the Rivers State Executive, that's the Attorney General, was meant to be screened today by the Rivers State House of Assembly by 10 a.m. And that the event would have been over now. Alo Chamber, Rivers House of Assembly Auditorium in Port Harcourt. So I don't know the faction that will be screening the Attorney General today.
The question is, who signed it?
This one is saying the clerk, Rivers House of Assembly, Gilly West, PhD. I don't know.
No, no, that's not the clerk of
the
clerk of the house is by name Emeka, and he has said that he does not recognize the new speaker. So that the new speaker was part of the people who were suspended by the house, and that the suspension has not.
He's a new speaker. Let's see
who elected him.
So let's see. Let's
yes, that's the man is saying that he does not recognize. And he also said that there is a judgment that bars the governor from interfering in the affairs of the house. So those guys have not lost their seats. I see lawyers saying, oh, by defecting, they have by that automatically lost their seat. The law does not run like that. You have to go to court.
It's a court,
and that's why some of these senior lawyers, when they talk, they behave as if they too are illiterate in the law. If you behead a man, the law says they must take your life in return. But will they simply not take you to court? They will just come and cut your neck. Is that how
jungle justice?
Is that how it is done? No, they must go through the legal process. If the final court, just like Zia Bejli or the other man, if the final court now says you've lost your seat, that is when they can lose that. Not by we will just be saying it.
Your intervention?
For me, I like to set things, let's set it clearly. One, I think by law, or by what we know, River State has a speaker. But the governor got two persons to elect somebody for his own speakership. I've supported the government in a lot of ways, but on this, the answer, no, it's a no. What are we turning democracy to? That two persons will elect a person as speaker, and you think it will be acceptable under the law? There are stipulated rules. There are laws.
So two of them have formed a quorum.
So out of how many members? So if you say Fubara speaker, fine, but don't say River State. I won't agree to the speaker of River State. No, that I think I will not. Number two, you have a major problem with this. Is the destruction of our institutions.
Okay, let's quickly pick this call. Charles is calling us from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Charles.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Charles.
Yeah, good evening.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, please, I want to contribute to your last topic, the topic of electricity.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to you, Otisi and the other brother. Yeah, good evening.
Go ahead, Charles.
Yes, the last topic being electricity generation. There was the problem is not from the generation and transmission. Our problem has always been with our problem has always been with the distribution. The transmission and generation, they've been generating 6,000 to 7,000 kilowatts. Megawatts.
Well, no, sir. That's not true.
All this generation,
that same grid.
What was generated there because they refuse to buy more transformers in Nigeria. In Nigeria, they need transformers.
Charles.
They need transformers.
Charles.
Okay, thank you, Charles.
Nigeria has never transmitted up to 6,000 megawatts.
To evacuate the light being generated.
No, he's talking about generation.
Yes, you people are not electric.
So if you generate and you can't evacuate, what are we talking about?
There's nothing to will it.
Yes.
Thank you, Charles.
We have capacity to generate. We have capacity to generate more than 10,000 megawatts. We have capacity, but you cannot will it out. You can't will what you
that national
generate.
Grid cannot.
Now let's
we have never willed to the distribution companies up to 6,000 megawatts. I've been following this thing for years. We have never reached 6,000 megawatts willing to the distribution companies. No, they all have their problems.
About infrastructure in that sector. We've dealt with this.
Yeah, just basically the deficits
in tariff for the rich. I support it. Now let's go back to River State. Let's go back to River State. Now, my major problem in all of this is the destruction of our institutions.
Yeah.
If you have separation of power, you have the executive, you have the lawmakers and the judiciary, and a governor will want to, of course, we know that governors control the House of Assembly, but there was still some semblance of separation. But for bringing the House, sitting in the government house in your own room, practically, that is desecration. We are basically just destroying.
Why do you think the People's Democratic Party is so quiet about this?
Here I'm coming. Who?
The PDP, yes, to resolve this crisis.
I hope you understand that what we are witnessing is a political fight. So it depends. The PDP, the faction that belongs to Wiki, they are talking against this. But the faction that wants to see Wike out, even if they destroy the entire River State, as long as it is against Wike, they will support it. And this is where I think we should start striking,
what he's saying
the
is,
balance.
How come the national leadership of the PDP,
Board of Trustees,
even before things degenerated to this level, point, they didn't even get in a word? At the level of Governors Forum, PDP has Governors Forum.
Yes.
Why couldn't those members of PDP Governors Forum even visit Rivers and say, gentlemen, you are members of our party, let us resolve this matter? And you have trustees, you have leadership of the party. At no time. It was when they didn't make any move that Mr. President got involved. Ideally, it's a quarrel between brothers, between people in the same party. The president had no business getting involved.
But they are saying that Wike is not in the party. They are also accusing Wike of not being in the party.
Oh, and yet they received him at their neck. He sat with them.
Of course,
so
you know what happened. He was Makinde that.
No. If they didn't want him there, even if Makinde alone, they don't do politics like that. Makinde alone would take.
I'm still very influential in that party.
Extremely influential.
Still very influential.
Nobody should deceive you.
Go see the list of the caretaker.
All right.
Wike dominated it.
And finally, as Nigeria grapples with current fuel scarcity, oil theft appears to be compounding the problem. The Adamawa and Taraba Command of the Nigerian Customs Service say it has intercepted 12,435 liters of petrol worth 10.8 million naira en route Cameroon, while assuring Nigerians that efforts are ongoing to sustain the fight against smuggling. The Custom Area Controller, Bashir Gaba Bature, called for the cooperation from relevant stakeholders to bring an end to oil theft and smuggling in the country. Jide? Economic sabotage.
This is at a time when we are grappling with serious fuel scarcity. What these people are doing is really unlawful. In fact, 12,435 liters of PMS worth 10.8 million, 491 25-liter jerry cans, 8 20-liter jerry cans were intercepted as they were moving them from Mubi to Cameroon. I've been told that even in Kebbi State, there's a lot of smuggling still going on. That even after we increased...
Still cheap?
Yes. Even after we increased the price. It's still, yes. You know, in the far north, people are buying up to 700, 800 per liter. Even when I traveled in December, in November to Yobe, it was in my presence that the driver paid 800 naira per liter in one of those communities. It's not as if they told me. I was sitting in front. So, as we have increased the price, what we are selling it, the rate at which we are selling in Nigeria is still cheaper than in the countries around us. So, smuggling, there's still some incentive to smuggle. And when you are going through scarcity, it means their own scarcity will be worse because they are reliant on us. So that's why these people can move 10 million naira worth of petrol trying to take it across the border. You can't do that. They were doing it too when we had food, the prices of food items went up. People were going across the border. Of course, our currency is weaker than the CFA. So they were going across the border to go and sell everything. And some of them had their trucks impounded. In Katsina, it took the magnanimity of the president to say, okay, return their grains to them on the condition that they will sell them in the Nigerian markets. Because customs seized a lot of them. Immigration, they all jumped in EFCC and they were seizing this thing. People can't buy food in Nigeria. Food has become so costly, but you are moving them across the border. It is economic sabotage. And there are categories of commodities that you are not permitted to move across the border. But people want to make money at the expense of the rest of us. They worsen the pains of the people by continually smuggling petroleum products. I commend the deputy area controller for the role that they played, and he said that they've been supported tremendously by the CG, Bashir Adeniyi. We are seeing improvement. They did well during that food scarcity, and we are seeing it again. They are playing their roles effectively, and I'm really happy.
We should discourage smuggling, clearly.
The incentives are there. I take you back to during Senator Saraki's outburst that time, when they said we were consuming about 40 million liters daily. And the man said, by research, we couldn't be doing more than 20 million liters.
Now that's...
At some point, in fact, 2 years ago, every single day by research that we were losing at least minimum of about 16 million liters daily being smuggled out of this country. Why? Because fuel, petrol, is like 4 times cheaper. I mean, much more expensive in the neighboring countries than us. So you see Nigerians building petrol stations.
When they remove fuel subsidy,
they were even protesting.
in Cameroon.
Yeah, now you see Nigerians building petrol, gas stations in a lot of neighboring countries. So what they do when they lift, it is just for the purpose of smuggling out of this country. Now come and see.
No, they don't discharge into those tanks.
Yes, they just
move the trucks.
Now, why do you think
across the border?
Now, why do you think
they
it
deceive you
that
with those? The product will be designated to go to those filling stations, they don't go. They just go straight across the border. They
take them across the border. However, why is it still why is it on the increase now again? Last year we had almost a reduction by about 80–90%.
Wow.
But suddenly it picked up again. Let me explain why. Now, when we said, I don't think the time we increase price would be appropriate in some quarters. Why? Because we only took away subsidy that the government was paying between the landing cost and the pump price. Now, at that time, crude oil was about, I think, $70 per barrel, or maybe 67 or 68. But it got to a time that crude started increasing also in price. And you understand that crude is the major, product refined to petrol. So when crude started increasing, the subsidy came back again. The Nigerian government could not transfer the landing cost to the people. So the government started paying subsidy gradually. So the price difference between Nigeria and those countries started, getting widened. So it got to a point that it was also very profitable now to start smuggling. So even when you don't have petrol, even when you have scarcity in your country, dealers will take the petrol and will go to sell for multiple, for not just 200%, much more than that in price. So why you see this is because the economic situation right now in Nigeria would not allow us to go to full deregulation.
George is calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, George.
Good evening, Ayo, and
go ahead, George.
Congratulations on your beautiful studio in Abuja.
Thank you, George.
Ayo, please permit me to disagree with the argument of Mr. Kolawole Johnson on this tariff hike.
That was why you greeted the two of them and you didn't greet me. I'll tell my mommy for you.
I'm not happy with him.
And he's not happy too. He's been saying that here.
I don't know if, to me, electricity is a social service in the first place. It is wrong to discriminate with it. You have only 3,000, an average of 3,000 megawatts to give 200 million people.
On the average.
And you have chosen to give some people several hours and give nothing to others. That is unfair in the first place.
I agree.
Now, I don't know if Mr. Kolawole is aware of this. Last week, I got a text message from Ikeja Electric that my area has been migrated to Band A. We never called for it.
Thank you, George. Our time is fast spent. Thank you, George.
Please let me quickly respond to that. Okay, now, see, even before now, some areas enjoy more supply. So they did not handpick. It is those areas that are enjoying more supply because of the infrastructure there and some other factors. Those are those that the group under Band A. For example, even if your estate is beautiful and the infrastructure there would not be enough to convey, that volume of supply, you won't get it.
Okay,
so
we have to leave it there.
That's why we said take care of all of those problems first before increasing.
Before this classification.
Before increasing. You are doing 3,000 megawatts. How can 3,000 megawatts
for 200 million people?
More than 200 million people.
And South Africa is doing 40,000.
Yes, taxing the rich cannot be a wrong.
All right, I want to thank you. Call our allegiance. I want to thank you for your contribution. And the maestro himself. Thank you for always standing by the people.
He stand by the people. He has forces to stand against us. But know him from today. Know him.
I will stand for policies that will work.
All right.
If it bites me, no problem.
And that's our package today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout. On Sunday, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Where they come from? For inside this hot sun.
Antenatal enter market.
I happy well for this clinic where they go. It is very important for the baby.
Not true. It go make me dey safe. Me and my baby where they carry for my belly.
That means everybody, including pikin, so where they inside belly, go collect vaccine.
Today, I collect vaccine for tetanus. I collect vaccine for COVID. And those vaccines, now them go take care of my baby and me myself. And now I can't know say he get vaccine for pikin them separately. And he get the one for pregnant women like me. I dey follow who no rule.
Women when get belle supposed to collect them COVID and tetanus vaccine. They protect them and them pikin for belle from infection. Waka go any health center or call 7722 for more information. Follow who no rule.
Bye, Mom.
He's going to play in this weather. Why did you let him go? He might fall ill.
And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with Germ Defense gives you protection. Rainy season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's Germ Defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it difficult to make it to the gym? You want to improve your overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill. The compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1-horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill System complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The SportX treadmill has really helped me get back in shape after childbirth. I love it because it's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home. I simply unfold it and use it while I watch my favorite program on TV.
Joining a gym can cost an absolute fortune, and you could be paying up to 490,000 naira in annual gym fees. Get the SportX Compact Digital Treadmill to save the cost and work out of the convenience of your home. You would normally pay 500,000 naira for a treadmill like this. Call the number on your screen now and get the SportX Compact Digital Treadmill for not 450,000 naira, but for just 400,000 naira only.